In this lesson, I am going to talk about segmentation, targeting, and positioning, with the focus being mainly on the last two, which are number 1, targeting, and number 2, positioning. Segmentation is based on the fundamental appreciation that customers are different, and because customers are different, it is important to group them in groups or segments in which they exhibit similar characteristics. For example, there are people that would like to study in full-time and there are people that would like to study part-time. If you take time to look at these particular persons, there's always going to be some differences between them and also some similarities. In segmentation, the groups that have been put together must exhibit similarities. Those similarities, however, must be distinct and different from other segments. When considering or studying the topic of segmentation, the following areas are areas you need to know because these are the areas your examination questions are going to fall. Number 1, types of segmentation. Number 2, bases of segmentation. Number 3, criteria for selecting an effective segment. And number 4, advantages of segmentation. There are basically two types of segmentation. Number 1, consumer segmentation, which applies to individuals. And number 2, industrial segmentation or organizational segmentation, which, as you may tell, applies to organizations. The basis for segmentation, or simply put, the grounds on which segmentation is going to occur for an individual customer is going to be based on number 1, geography, number 2, demography, number 3, geodemography, number 4, psychography, and number 5, behavioral segmentation. Examiners may give you a scenario, for example, of an airline, and they may ask you for recommendations on the best way in which an airline can segment its market. It could be that the airline could segment its market on the basis of geography, demography, geodemography, psychography, or indeed behavioral segmentation. You must be able to explain these in addition to you being able to identify them. It is possible that a company can have 1, 2, 3, 18, 20 different segments. The very fact that there's a segment does not mean that the company is going to make products for each one of those particular segments. It simply means that the company has identified different potential markets. And now what the company needs to do is to select the most effective of the segments. In so doing, you need to have a criteria which you're going to use to be able to select segment 6 instead of segment 8, for you to be able to select segment 4 instead of segment 12. There has to be a criteria for this, and these criteria includes number 1, measurability, number 2, accessibility, number 3, sustainability, and number 4, homogeneity. A successful segment is going to exhibit these 4 characteristics. Number 1, measurability. Number 2, accessibility. Number 3, sustainability. And number 4, homogeneity. Attention now turns to targeting. We have segmented our markets, and now what we need to do, after selecting the most effective segment or segments, as a business, what you're going to do is you're going to target those segments. You may have had 20 segments, and you have only selected 4 which are effective. Those 4 are measurable, they are sustainable, they are accessible, and they are homogeneous. Targeting is the process of you developing a product that is going to be meant and directed at segments according to what those segments need and indeed what the business is able to propose. Customized targeting applies when a company develops customized, unique, very distinct and different products for elements in each segment. For example, MTN *777# does offer unique products that are going to differ from one person to another. One of the variables that results in the differences between how much each particular person will be able to pay is based on the ratings of your credit worthiness. If last time you congolaed 500 kwacha and did not pay on the due date, it means that in future you will not be able to congola as much as 500. Your credit rating would have dropped, and therefore the amount of money that you will be able to borrow is going to be less. This is an example of customized targeting. Customized targeting applies when a company makes unique products, different products, distinctive products for each segment and indeed elements in that particular segment. Differentiated targeting applies to when the different segments are each going to have their own unique products. So a company can have a segment where it has divided its market according to males and according to females. And as it makes its products, it is going to tailor-make its products according to the needs of the males and according to the needs of the females. Each one of the segments gets a different product, and that is why it is known as differentiated targeting. And differentiated targeting is the exact opposite. This is when a company can make the same product, and that same product is going to be purchased by customers in different segments. It could be soap, it could be tissue, it could be rice, and indeed any other product that is not necessarily differentiated. And therefore, what those in segment A are going to buy is the same as what those in segment B are going to buy, and equally it is the same sugar that people in segment C are going to purchase. Now that we are done with targeting, what we need to do, what you need to do, and what you need to know and understand is that as a business, you need to position yourself. Positioning is about creating a picture in the minds of the customers that the customers are going to use to distinguish yourself from competitors. Positioning is a strategic drive that is initiated by a business to influence the customers of what they think and feel about that particular business against what competitors have to offer. So there are 3 things involved. Number 1, there is the customer. Number 2, there is the competitor. And number 3, there is the company. The company begins a campaign that is meant to influence the customer, so that the customer, when they look at you as a business and they look at your competitors, they are able to distinguish between you and your competitors, and they are able to have an image of what your business has to offer. The focus of the next lesson is going to be the decision-making process. If you would like more of these lessons, I would like us to chat. Send me a message to the WhatsApp number 0966 930 260. See you in the next lesson.